record. We have big breaking news here in Fairfax, Virginia. The jury has reached a verdict in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation case. We will hear that verdict at 3 o'clock. The judge has announced, of course, we are going to bring it to you live here on Law and Crime. A viewer just wrote us a few minutes ago saying, when the verdict is reached, will it be streamed from the courtroom? Of course it will be, so keep it locked in here. You will not want to miss a second. This comes about 13 hours or so into deliberations, just after the jury took a little lunch break. Let's go over to Anjanette, who's right outside the courthouse now. Anjanette, what are you hearing?
You know, Stacey, just in the last few minutes during that commercial break, I got word from a reliable source that the verdict had been reached. We had been telling you since last Friday that Judge Ascarati said there would be an hour's notice for that verdict, okay? So it is right now, let's look, 1:32 on my Apple Watch, 1:32, and she said it would be an hour from the top of the hour. So it's 1:32, so we go to 2 o'clock, we go up to that hour at 3 o'clock, and that is when the verdict will be read in this case. It's just about 13 and a half hours, 13 hours of deliberation or so. So the jury has reached a verdict. We do not have a hung jury. Gene Rossi was saying we would get a verdict. I think some people thought there was a possibility of a hung jury, but there were a lot of legal experts I spoke with, and even an attorney earlier today who stopped by the tent, who I met at dinner last night, and he's been practicing here in Virginia for decades, and he told me there will be a verdict in this case. He did not believe that there would be a hung jury.
Yeah, I mean, Gene thought it might take longer. Sorry, Gene, but Linda and Janine, they hit it. They said today, you know, Dan Abrams, who runs this network, he said he thought there would be a verdict today. And so here we are with the verdict halfway through the day, which, again, will be read live at 3 o'clock. You know, I just turned around. There's been media camped out all day. Everyone's been sort of hanging out in the shade. It's hot and humid, as we've been saying. Well, look, in the last few minutes since we found out there was a verdict, I have seen a lot of scrambling. Everyone's getting in position. Everyone's getting to their cameras. Look, nothing's going to happen outside in the next few minutes in terms of anyone speaking, but we're going to start to see more people showing up. We know the Depp team is inside. We know some members of the Heard team are inside. As we've been reporting, we have heard from sources Amber Heard is going to be here for the verdict, so perhaps she is on his way. Now, Gene, how do you think things are going to change out here in the next hour and a half as we get ready for the verdict?
Well, you're going to see more cars than cameras, I'll tell you that right now. Before it was the opposite. I got to say, it's going to be total chaos. I'm just thinking, what was the jury going through? And actually, 13 hours is a decent amount of time. I did think it would be Friday, but I'm wrong. But I was right about the verdict coming and no hung jury. I really, if I had to bet money, this is good for Johnny Depp. But we'll see.
Linda, your hot take on that? Is this good for Johnny Depp? 13 hours into the game here?
I think so. I think it's good for, it's one of two things. Either good for Johnny Depp, or they just said, we're throwing our hands up in the air, neither of you win. But I think it's good for Johnny Depp with that question we had yesterday about the headline.
Yeah, let's talk about Johnny Depp for a second, because we've also been opining, is he going to stay in the UK and perform? Is he going to be back? I'm going to take a guess and say he's probably not going to be here, and that's okay. The judge said the defendants didn't have to be present for this, you know, but my guess is he was on stage last night once again with Jeff Beck at the Royal Albert Hall. We know Jeff Beck has more shows coming up. I saw a bunch of stuff on Twitter, some paparazzi photos of him leaving a hotel today, you know, with the time difference, with the time travel, even with the private jet. I'm going to guess he's not going to be here, but we just don't know for sure. And Jeanette, do you want to weigh in?
You know, in my heart of hearts, here's the deal. So I think it's not a great look if he's not here. He did the show last night at Royal Albert Hall. Johnny Depp, I would assume, flies privately. I think we heard testimony to that effect, that he flies on private jets. And I did some kind of like internet sleuthing about private jets and the flights from London to DC the other night. So in theory, he could have taken a private jet last night after the show, and remember there's a 5-hour time difference between Virginia and London, and he could take that jet and then be back and go back. Obviously he wouldn't know when the verdict was going to happen, but he could theoretically take a jet here, get here in between 6 and 7 hours, be here for a verdict, and then get back on it and get back to the UK for the Thursday night show with Jeff Beck, which is scheduled. So to our knowledge, we have no clue if Johnny Depp is coming. So
Yeah, I mean, the verdict could have come yesterday, and he's like, I'm staying for the show. So, I mean, yeah, we don't know for sure.
Exactly.
I'm sure there are going to be some fans starting to congregate, people hoping maybe he's back to catch a glimpse. But, we talked about this earlier, and let me bring it back, Linda and Janine. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if he's here, because who is it going to look bad for? The jury's already made their decision, and it is what it is at this point.
Right. Yeah, the jury has made a decision. They don't know he's not going to be there. In many civil cases, the client is not there. And let me tell you, if he wins, you know what's going to happen. He is going to have a private party for the jurors that no one will know about except for the jurors. That's what will happen if he wins. Even if no one wins, he may do that.
That's interesting. If there's a private party for the jurors, I hope someone tips us off. We at least get some photos from inside or something. I'd like to know, what they're serving. Is it going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean theme, or is it going to be an alpaca theme, right? I mean, who knows at this point?
Scissor hands.
Are the alpacas going to be back outside here today? So many questions. Janine, you too had predicted today would be a verdict. Do you agree this is good for Depp's team?
I think it's going to be good for Johnny Depp's team, but I just wanted to go back and say, even though the jury has made their decision and they didn't know that Depp wasn't actually here to hear the verdict, and even though the judge said that neither party had to be here for the verdict, this was also tried, in the court of public opinion. He had fans every day, and I kind of feel like I'm with Anjanette. It's a bad look not to show up for the verdict. You told us that this was so important to you, that your life was destroyed. I feel like he should have been here for the verdict.
Yeah, well, court of public opinion, as we said, certainly a lot of his fans online supporting him, saying, look, he's off doing his passion, playing music. He has every right to play these concerts in the UK, whether they were planned or not. They were reported as a surprise appearance. Let's take some other questions from our viewers right now. This question almost isn't relevant anymore because we have a verdict, but for those who don't know, who are not